Hello and welcome. You're watching News Central Television. I am Judith at TV. It's time for News Central now, and here are the top stories at this hour. The former Vice President Atiku delays ADC membership move amid Jonathan 2027 speculation. Police silence fuels tension as tinted glass permit enforcement deadline nears. And off to Chad as court sentences the ex-prime minister of the country to 20 years over incitement. Details shortly. And we begin with politics on the hour as former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has put on hold his anticipated defection to the African Democratic Congress, ADC, amid raising speculation that former President Goodluck Jonathan may be preparing for a return to the presidential race and is being actively courted by the same party. Atiku, who recently resigned from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, following long-standing internal disputes, was expected to officially join the ADC by collecting his membership card. The ceremony, originally scheduled for Wednesday, August 6th, was suddenly postponed indefinitely with no official reason given by Atiku's camp. Speaking to journalists, the ADC chairman in Adamawa State, Shohu Yohana, confirmed the development, saying that Atiku's formal reception into the party has been delayed and no new date has been announced. This development is fueling further uncertainty ahead of the 2027 elections as political realignments continue to unfold. In the meantime, a major endorsement is stirring fresh speculation within Nigeria's political landscape. The former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, has publicly backed former President Goodluck Jonathan as the People's Democratic Party's strongest contender for the 2027 presidential election. Lamido praised Jonathan as a seasoned statesman with a deep understanding of governance and a proven ability to work collaboratively across political lines. This endorsement comes as rumors continue to swirl about Jonathan's possible return to the PDP and a potential run for office. So far, the former president, who has kept a relatively low political profile since his 2015 electoral defeat, has yet to make any formal declaration regarding his 2027 ambitions. Meanwhile, reactions have trailed the call by the 2025 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, for a single term of 5 years for the office of the President of Nigeria. Obi has said that this would make the occupier know that they have a job to do within the limited time available. He said this was the practice in South Korea, where the president cannot seek re-election after a single term of 5 years in office. Meanwhile, First National Chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, as the APGA, Chakwas Okore, said Obi's proposal is a sign of desperation. Okore noted that although Obi has said repeatedly that he isn't desperate for power, his proposal paints a different picture in the minds of many Nigerians. And now joining us to discuss this further is Vincent Ota Okpokpo. He is a political analyst and he joins us live. Vincent, I know I butchered something there, forgive me. Let's start with your reaction to Peter Obi's proposal of a single 5-year term for presidency in Nigeria.
Yes, the proposal is well founded in law, and that proposal has been with us for more than 25 years, right from Second Republic, 1979 Constitution, and the administration of 1979. The proposal was there for a 5-year single tenure for the president and governors, as the case may be. But that was defeated. Then the short-lived Third Republic of 1983. Also, that idea was brought on board, but it did not see the light of the day. In 1990 to 1993, 95, during the regime of President Ibrahim Babangida, the proposal was put on table and it was also defeated. Now, in 1995, during the tenure of General Sani Abacha, when he convoked the National Constitutional Conference for the drafting of the constitution that will be used for the transition to the movement to the civil rule program, as the case may be, that proposal was on the table. In fact, that constitutional conference advocated for a 5-year single tenure for the president and governors, as the case may be. But it was now defeated by the death of Abacha in 1998. Now, the Abu Salam Abubakar regime, military regime, through Constitutional Conference, Constituent Assembly assembled, drafted the 1919 Constitution of Nigeria, which was now what we have as 1999 Constitution. And in that draft copy, this adopted this 4-year tenure of, in line with Section 135 of 1999 Constitution, renewable for only one. 4-year tenure, renewable for only once. So that is what the military adopted for us. It was not a reflection of the people's will. People of Nigeria never agreed for that term of office. Now, that has been the deficiency that characterized with that 1999 Constitution, which we'll come back to. Now, 1999 Constitution, in the year that proposal came on board, advocated strongly in 2010, 2012, 2017, and 2024, and this year, as the case may be. In 2010, Senator Anthony Ebo, who represented the Ebonyi North Senatorial District in the National Assembly in 2010, advocated for a 5-year single tenure for the president, but that was defeated. The administration of President Goodluck Jonathan, you remember, projected that view too, but advocated through the Constitutional Conference that was held then, and they presented executive bill, sponsored a bill by executive bill to the National Assembly, and projected for 7-year single tenure for the president. That particular proposal was also defeated before the floor of the National Assembly, and the fear expressed by the National Assembly and people who were strongly antagonists to the bill was because the President Jonathan was through the back door, through using that bill to maybe to extend his term of office beyond 2015. So that bill was defeated. In the House of Representatives, another House of Rep member called Honorable Ale Madaki, who represented Dele Federal Constituency of Kano State, also presented the bill in 2000 and subsequently in 2012, but that bill was also defeated. Senator Omar Agege in 2017 presented the same bill again for a 6-year single tenure for the president, which was defeated, but he brought it back in 2020, and which was also defeated. Recently, Honorable,
just a second, Vincent. It's very clear that this call for a single-term limit has always resurfaced across our history, whether pre-1999 and post-1999 to contemporary time, right? So one thing is clear, right? There's been a call for it, and it seems to have always been at the fore of reforms when it comes to our democracy. But in the view of the former presidential candidate and former Anambra State Governor, Mr. B, he says that this single term, his is a 5-year term limit, and he proposes that this would make the leader or the president focus more on governance as opposed to politicking and electioneering. In your view, would it be the same? Would it affect accountability and performance of Nigerian presidents?
Yes, I agree with him entirely. When you have a 5-year single tenure for an elected president of Nigeria or a governor, or even chairman of a local government, it will enhance efficiency and focus, in the sense that it will give the occupant of the office the opportunity to focus more on how to develop a long-term economic plan, to enhance and which will affect the lives of the people, such that when you have, from the day you are elected and you took oath of office and allegiance in line with section 180 of the Constitution and 135 of the Constitution in the case of the governor and president, you are aware that this term of office will lapse on so and so date for 5 years, and there is no option of renewal of coming back. So it will put you in that position. Oh, I need to start on time. I need to deliver. I need to work on long-term projection so as to I will not be caught up by time from day one. Now it gives the occupant of the office also that unnecessary distraction of campaign in the middle of a 4-year term, as we currently have now. The occupant will begin like we currently have a citizen at hand. There will be problem of campaigning, political arithmetic, political realignment, defection upon defection from there. All these things are characterized with a view to align a political structure that will restore the occupant of the office in his re-election bid. But if you have a single tenure, this whole thing will be guarded against. Now, beyond this point, a single tenure will also assist the occupant of the office to guard against influences coming from a political associate, family, as and what have you. And it will also help to cut corruption in the office. Because if you know that that is for 5 years, and you start counting from the day you took out of office, it will put you more prepared. I have to deliver. Now, deliver in the sense that you have to start working on time, you have to deliver, you have to get your people on board, you have to prepare for your ministers, you have to prepare for your appointees that will assist you carry out these functions, and there will be check and balances on them. But when you know that you are, after this tenure, I'm coming back, it gives the man a refuge, it gives man a comfort to relax. Let me leave this particular project, maybe my next tenure, I will use it to come back, and so, what have you. And it gives them the opportunity to even siphon money and engage in corruption, as the case may be. So it is a well-founded arrangement proposal. If we haven't been clamored since the Second Republic till now, even Ikengo Gochimi recently brought it with 33 other House of Rep members. They projected for 6 years single tenure. It was defeated.
Vincent,
so this proposal is well-founded and which require amendment to 137 of the 35 of the Constitution.
Just give me a sec, okay? As we're talking about this, right? You talked about how limiting presidents to one term could help, tackle issues such as, corruption and complacency. But let's look at the reaction that have trailed Obi's call for this one-term limit for presidents. The president, or one of the key voices in APGA, has said that this shows or reflects Peter Obi's desperation. Did that align with you? Do you think that it shows Peter Obi's desperation for power, or is this from a place of concern, in your view?
He's just expressing a concern, a way to deepen our democratic journey and the electoral process, and also to make sure that the dividend of democracy gets to the people of Nigeria. An occupant of that office delivers on his campaign promises and the manifesto. I quite disagree with Mr. Rocha's Okori. I disagree with him on what he's what he accused Obi of. There is no gainsaying that proposal is well funded and will help to deepen our democracy. What do we expect from the people expect from the president is to have a dividend of democracy, educational objective, political objective, economic objective, and all what have you, delivered to the people of Nigeria. That's what they're asking for, and nothing more. So it is not desperation in the sense, in the opinion of Chekwa Sokori, it's not desperation. This particular view has been there since Second Republic, and the reason why I've stated the history of this proposal from Second Republic up to now, even Abacha military regime, under the military regime, we have the proposal on the table, Abacha, IBP, and what have you. 1979, 1983, the National Assembly, Moagege, who was APC member then, you have Ikengo Gochimi, PDP. Obi, and these are not coming from Obi. This has been there before now. Obi is just saying what people have been saying before, which he believed that will help to strengthen our democracy. So I quite disagree with Chekwa Sokori, and that these are politicians that should be able to allow the people of Nigeria to breathe.
I have to ask
you, a new Nigeria.
Right. I have to ask you, right, as we discuss the possibility of whether, is there a possibility of a single term limit? That as we're talking about reforms with the Constitution, do you see that coming to the fore? Would there ever be a possibility of it being passed into law? And is there ever going to be a future where there's improved governance and accountability, and a single term limit may just be the tool or the vehicle that will drive that in Nigeria?
Yeah, this is the opportunity. The opportunity has presented itself now. The National Assembly is currently carrying out a constitutional amendment process, which is a rigorous and one indeed. They have conducted public hearing in all the geopolitical zones in Nigeria. So the opportunity is here. It will assist us well if we can get it right now. You just amend the provisions of the law. It removes some things in the provisions of section 132, 133, 134, 135, 136 of the Constitution, and other provisions with respect to the governor section 180 of the Constitution, to have those things reflected in the Constitution. We can achieve it now. President Goodluck Jonathan attempted to have it done in 2012, but it was defeated. So if you can do it now, it will assist us. But the fear that people have experienced that the occupant of the office, maybe President Tinubu, may be able to spend 5 years. So these are part of the attack. These are part of the disagreement that will be characterized with the bill in terms of when it's presented before the Senate and House of Rep, and you have the majority of APC members in the Senate and House. So some of these things, we only pray that they will have the vision and the zeal to pass some of these things into law that will deepen our democratic journey.
Deepen our democratic journey, indeed. Vincent, I must say thank you so much for joining us. Vincent is a political analyst, giving us a bit of insight following Peter Obi's call for a 5-year presidential single term. To switch gears away from politics, now in a commemoration of the International Youth Day, stakeholders are calling on young Nigerians to embrace agriculture as a smart way to power the nation's economy. The appeal came at a youth leadership summit in Lagos, held in partnership with the United Nations Information Center. News Central's Victor Mbadike reports.
In villages across Nigeria, the average farmer is over 50 years old. For decades now, they have fed the nation. But as they become older, one pressing question remains: who will take over the hoe and cutlass? Here, Nigerian youths are brainstorming ways to use their skills and innovation to modernize farming, alongside tackling other sustainable development goals.
If we look at all the 17 goals, young people are important. That is what the theme of this year is saying. Localizing youth action for SDGs and beyond. If we want to reduce poverty, as we have seen during this event, the young man speaking about agriculture and also emphasizing the importance of young people to get involved in agriculture value chain, whether planting, whether the logistics, whether in terms of technology or in terms of production. He underscored the importance of young people. So this can help in achieving food security.
Others said the key to attracting young people lies in changing the narrative.
The sector at the moment is less appealing, for the fact that young people see their fathers, older generations, wearing Tata clothes, and they feel it's for dirty people. The sector needs to be attractive for them to come on board. And as you can see, do I look like a farmer? That's the point. So, I mean, the farming of the 21st century must be very attractive to young people. We must really democratize it and make it not to be opaque, but make it so transparent that we're able to, really structure it and give them that sense of belonging to come on board.
Most times when youth don't get involved in something is because they're not fully aware of the benefits. Maybe there's some, misconceptions. For instance, we heard today agric is not just when you think farming or you think dirty. We've seen a lot of more young people, and that's why we always bring role models and bring young people to come and talk to them about those areas that they tend to shy away from. So by and large, investment in youth development is critical. and it's just going to be the game changer. So, and it's beyond the four walls of university.
The challenge is clear: to convince Nigeria's youth that the future of farming is smart, profitable, and worth their energy. Because without their hands and ideas, the nation's food baskets could one day run dry. In Lagos for News Central, Victor Mbadike.
President Bola Tinubu has condoled with the people of Benue State over the death of Audu Ogbe, former chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In a statement, presidential spokesman Bayo Nanuga said Tinubu recognized Ogbe's intellectual contributions to policy making and his ability to craft practical solutions to complex national challenges. Also mourning the former minister, ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo, speaking through his aide Kehinde Akinyemi from Uganda, described Ogbe as peace-loving, unassuming, and committed to democracy. You're watching news now on News Central Television. Let's go on a short break. When we return, SARAP, Nigeria Guild of Editors, sue Niger governor over Badagry FM closure threat. We have the details of this and plenty more after the break. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back. And now it's off to Borno State, where the capital is witnessing a sharp rise in the number of street beggars, a growing concern for residents worried about public safety, traffic disruptions, and the welfare of those forced to beg. News Central's Umaru Kirawa has been tracking this growing social issue. Here's his report.
In Maiduguri's Bulabulin community, Hadiza Bala, a mother of 4, is one of thousands forced to ask for alms on the streets just to survive.
Daidai dubu ɗaya wannan ba na maganinta. Abinda za mu ci mu sha ma a baran nan ba samun sa muke ba, he ka wuni ba kai 600 naka ba. Ko shi ne ya sa mu ga wannan bara, in dai an ba mu jari ni ko a yau aka ban jari ba zan ƙara bara ba, na gaji ni ma da wannan rana tana duka na ga ba kuɗi.
Shin ya ka jirukin ba kuma ni na kwata kuma kuma sun mama gudan yan noyin ba. Tara so rema kara kan ya sha asu in ba kam da koyin. Am zara man gorde ko lenga na ran dewa wa godenge.
Displacement, poverty and unemployment are among the main drivers, with children, the elderly and people with disabilities increasingly visible on the streets. The problem is foiling deeper social challenges and sometimes even accidents.
People nowadays they only know about giving birth to children, but to take that responsibility, which is the social responsibility, they are not doing that. So I think equally law should be made, and there should be a stringent laws and measures government should take in order to address this problem. Otherwise, as I said, equally like the male child, the female child is even worse.
Initially, in Borno State, the government initiated cash transfer to selected persons living with disability to curb street begging, but the situation seems to require more holistic approach.
Mutanen namu muna ja musu kunne su guji wannan abin ma ba baran bane shi ila baran tukuna, amma yanzu hali da ake cikin nan wuya mai lafiyan ma ga kaga ya sha garin sa yana bara. Kwanan nan ma mai girma gwamna ya dauki ma'aikata a cikin mu makafi wanda a yanzu haka sun kai mutum 15 sun an karbi abin nan nasu detail nasu an dauke su aiki suna koyarwa a makarantar makafi wanda yanzu haka suna aiki. To ire-iren nan idan da akwai commission nan za a iya kai su karkashin commission nan wanda ma ba su da ilimin za su dinga koyarwa.
Individuals soliciting money in public spaces is gradually becoming a stark social problem in Nigeria, particularly in the northern parts of the country.
I called all the blind people, I don't know if you are aware, almost 5,000 of them in Rama Square for documentation. Almost 1,300 and something came from Potis, Komunguru, and Damaturu. I went and told the governor, these are not people from our state. Governor said, we are in one country. Don't remove them from the list. We were paying 30,000. When we see the money is too much, we started paying 15,000. The governor said, let me pay 20. From the first year to the 6th year, Allah Gobeze Tambeni, we have been paying them. 4 years, 30,000. I am trying to create Zaka Center, 4 centers from within the state.
Initiatives such as an elderly home, also known as residential care facility, which are usually established for the elderly in developed countries, are said to be critical to be initiated in this part of the world. This is said to curb the growing concerns, including making street children learn trades and supported with start-up kits for industrialization.
Muna roko ga wannan gwamnati mai alfarma ta sa wannan commission nan hannu saboda akwai ma'aikata kala-kala. Idan kai gurgu ne ga kai iya walda a cikin wannan commission din, idan kai gurgu ne ga kai iya yin kafinta a cikin wannan commission din, duk wani abu da dai hannu zai yi ba wani kafa ba ga kai iya yi.
While the Borno state government has since banned street begging, the situation is visible on its street, a clear need for a practical solution to the problem. Establishment of an agency or commission for the persons living with disability, in addition to funding it, seems to be a pathway to tackle the ever-growing population. In Borno State for News Central, Umar Kirawa.
Many thanks for Umaru for that report. Let's go on a short break. When we return, Umaru Kirawa joins me live to discuss the street beggars and, of course, what the government is doing to address the issue. After the break, stay with us. And welcome back. Now, earlier, our correspondent live from Borno brought us a report on the situation of street begging in Borno State. Now he joins me live on the news. Umaru Kirawa, many thanks for joining us. We appreciate you for coming on. I mean, that report that we played earlier before the break, it really just paints just a situational report or picture of the street begging in Borno State's capital. What's really going on? And from your own personal opinion and just seeing what's happening, what spurred you to that report? What's happening in the capital of Borno?
It's quite unfortunate, although the government initially banned street begging, but unfortunately we are seeing a number of beggars on the community, but the region and of course the country. The street begging issue seems to be a national crisis that the government really needs to work on it, because virtually, like the chairman of the persons living with disability in Borno State, in that interview, he said, with disability, but nowadays, able people, healthy people now beg on the street. So it's a very serious issue that is causing very serious social problem, not only to Borno State, but to Nigeria in general, because the worst part of it is for the female child. You will see young girls, 18, 17 on the street, pregnant, and she's begging. She's on the street. I mean, she has no only that pregnancy and about begging on the street. So it's a sort of concern that I saw, and I thought it wise to comprehensively look at the situation, precisely what the government has done, the challenge, and of course, how to address the time bomb. I can say it's a time bomb that, if not carefully addressed, it will cause a disaster, and it will.
Right now, Umaru, you said that it was banned. Street begging was banned, and they seem to have disappeared on the streets, and then it suddenly reappeared. And so I have to ask two questions. With the reappearance, is there a surge? Did they increase gradually? And also, who are the persons in charge of enforcement in terms of the designation areas where they're meant to beg and where they ought to be or not ought to be? Who is the agency or department or commission that's in charge?
It's the state government that is it's a sort of a committee that the state government has constituted, and the state government is in charge leading the implementation of the ban. Unfortunately, we are seeing an increase in the number of persons begging on the street, from Yambua Road to the post office area to the university area to the Borno State University, and virtually all communities across the state. A very increasing number of persons begging on the street. Some, when I spoke to them, they said it's the flood. Flood has displaced them. Their houses has been flooded. It has collapsed, and they have nothing apart from the clothes that they are wearing. But Unfortunately, some of them are even coming from neighboring countries, neighboring communities, neighboring states, like rightly alluded to by the Commissioner for Youth, Comrade Zaina Buba, with regard to the effort that the government has really put forth, coming up with plans of coming up with a sort of data for the blind. He said for the blind, they were able to document 5,000 persons. I mean, this is just for the blind, then the record. We have those that are crippled, we have those that are deaf, dumb, and those that are even healthy that are begging. A very serious crisis that the government really needs to prioritize.
All right.
Like the commissioner has really said. Yes.
All right. Umar, we have to let you go because we're having connectivity issues there. The gremlins in the system seems to be holding your network. But we will definitely have this conversation in our subsequent bulletin. Umar Karawa there, correspondent live from Maiduguri, Borno State. We'll switch gears now to security. Now, with just 2 days to the August 12th deadline for regularizing tinted glass permits, the Nigeria Police Force has yet to issue enforcement guidelines, sparking growing concerns among motorists. The directive, which began with the reactivation of the digital permit platform on May 1st, aims to curb criminal activity and promote transparency. Initially giving a 30-day grace period, the deadline was later extended by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to make the process more accessible. However, with no fresh update as enforcement nears, many fear officers may exploit this situation. Motorists are calling for clear communication to avoid confusion and possible abuse, especially given Nigeria's history of heavy-handed roadside enforcement and extortion linked to tinted windows. In media and governance news, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, alongside the Nigeria Guild of Editors, has filed a lawsuit against Niger State Governor Umar Bago and the National Broadcasting Commission. The legal action comes amid what they describe as, quote, ongoing intimidation of Badigi FM radio in Minna and threats to shut down the station. According to a statement released on Sunday by SERAP's Deputy Director, Kolawole Uluwadare, the NBC is being accused of failing to protect the local broadcaster from political pressure. The dispute began when Governor Bago ordered the immediate closure of Badigi Radio 91 FM, alleging the station had incited public unrest. He also directed security agencies to seal the premises and investigate the station's owner, accusing them of promoting violence. However, both SERAP and the Nigerian Guild of Editors have pushed back, describing the governor's claims as vague, unfounded, and an apparent attempt to silence press freedom. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has inaugurated 2 special committees to investigate allegations of breached agreements by estate developers and residents where land use terms were breached in contravention to government-approved plans. The minister, while inaugurating the committee, says that they have been given a 2-week deadline to submit their reports and prefer adequate recommendations. He tasked the committees to identify all infractions in the Maitama, Asukoro, and the Central Business District areas of Abuja and recommend penalties or revocation of titles. And all to sub-region here, as the ECOWAS Commission has called for the adequate equipping of police and gendarmerie officers with necessary skills and adequate capacity to effectively tackle crime within the sub-region. Now, this was during a 2-day meeting of police and gendarmerie focal point officers at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. Our reporter Sumaya Abubakar reports.
The meeting had in attendance senior police and gendarmerie focal police officers curled from ECOWAS member states, with many of them part of the ECOWAS standby force. The 2-day meeting was convened by the Directorate of Peacekeeping and Regional Security of the ECOWAS Commission.
The ECOWAS standby force, as you are aware, stands as a vital mechanism for our regional peace and security architecture. As a multidimensional force, it is designed to respond swiftly and effectively to conflicts across the region.
This workshop comes at a critical time in our collective regional security journey. The threats confronting West Africa, be they armed conflict, terrorism, transnational crime, or political instability, demand unified, proactive, and professional responses.
While acknowledging that building the capacity of police and gendarmerie officers is key, those in attendance say that the meeting will help equip security operatives present with adequate skills to tackle crime within the sub-region effectively.
The rapidly changing nature of threats and conflicts, particularly within our region, necessitate a dynamic and adapted approach to policy. This meeting, therefore, emphasizes not only combat readiness, but also cooperation, collaboration, and coordination among our police and gendarmerie forces within the region.
As we have often experienced, rapid and effective police deployment remains a challenge. This is precisely why we are here, to begin the process of developing a reliable, standardized, and mission-ready police roster comprising vetted, trained, and deployable officers from all member states ready to respond swiftly when called upon.
Participants at the meeting say that they are positive that the meeting will also have a profound and tremendous impact on police institutions, which will contribute immensely to nation building. In Abuja, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
And off to Ghana, as the country is mourning the loss of 2 government ministers and 6 others following a fatal helicopter crash in the Ashanti region. The president of the country, John Mahamat, has pledged a full investigation as the nation prepares for state funerals and reflects on the tragedy. Catherine Undojumo has more.
Ghanaian President John Mahama led tributes in Accra for the victims of Thursday's military helicopter crash, a tragedy that has left the nation in mourning. The Z9 helicopter was carrying 8 people, including Defense Minister Edward Omane Boama and Environment Minister Ibrahim Motala Mohamed, when it went down in dense forest while returning from an illegal mining event in Obuasi. Mahama joined families, officials and friends at the solemn memorial, promising a full and transparent investigation. The black boxes, he confirmed, have already been recovered.
We pray that God will touch their families. We pray that God will touch their mothers, their fathers, their wives, their children. It's a sad day to Ghana, and I will say that Galamsey, this gentleman passed away because we were going to perform national assignment, and this their untimely death caught up with them. I want the country to use this opportunity to totally eradicate, eliminate Galamsey.
The crash has reignited debate around Galamsey, the illegal mining activity the ministers were working to address.
I'm still thinking that maybe they got lost in the forests and we should just go looking for them. Because Omane Boama, I spoke to him 3 days today.
For many, the pain remains raw. Gospel singer Bernice Ansah, a close friend of Boama's, described him as more than a minister, a father figure and supporter of her work.
Dr. Omane Boama is like a father to me, a friend to me, a family member. I mean, I don't know what to say. He's everything to me. I called him last 4 days, and he told me he's going to travel. But when he come back, he will call me to come and see him at his place. I said, okay, no problem. Yesterday, around 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and then I heard the news that this thing that happened. Very, very painful. Very, very sad.
Ghanaian government has declared 3 days of national mourning, and state funerals are scheduled for August 15th. For News Central, I'm Kathleen Dongmo.
And off to Chad, where a court in Chad's capital, N'Djamena, has sentenced former Prime Minister and opposition leader, Succès Masra, to 20 years in prison. Masra was convicted of hate speech, xenophobia, and inciting inter-communal violence that killed 42 people in May. The case stems from unrest in the southwest, where the politician, a fierce critic of President Mahamat Idriss Déby Itno, allegedly fueled what is tensions between ethnic groups. Prosecutors had sought a 25-year term, but Masra and his co-defendants denied the charges. The violence mainly affected the Ngambaye ethnic group, to which he belongs, amid long-standing tensions with the central government. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and U.K. Foreign Secretary David Lammy, as they're now hosting a high-level meeting of national security advisors on Saturday to discuss the ongoing war in Ukraine. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has firmly stated that peace talks without Kyiv's participation will achieve nothing. This comes ahead of a planned meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska on Friday. However, Zelensky reaffirmed he will not cede any Ukrainian land to Russia, contradicting Trump's suggestion that territorial swipes might be part of a peace deal. Fighting continues on the ground, with both Moscow and Kyiv reporting drone strikes. Russia currently controls about 20% of Ukrainian territory, and Kyiv shows little willingness to accept peace on unfavorable terms. Now to wrap up the hour with sports, as the 2025 National Division 1 Handball League tipped off on Saturday at the Indoor Sports Hall, Umuahia, with Kwara, Funad Academy, Edo Dynamos, and UNH Abia among the opening day winners. In the women's category, Kwara edged Mindscope Academy 31-28. Funad beat Abia Violence 27-22. And Edo Dynamos overcame Pyramids 23-19. Suf Handball Club delivered the day's biggest scoreline, thrashing Girl Child Academy 41-23. In the men's division, Suleja Shooters narrowly beat Bielsa United 19-18, while Kwara defeated Mindscope 22-14. Vipers of Jos cruised past Kutus Academy 27-18, and UNH Abia sealed a 26-20 win over Bendo Dynamos. Nigeria is aiming to secure qualification in the men's and women's 4x100 meter and 4x400 meter relays at the CAA Region 2 Senior Champions in Ghana, a key step toward the Tokyo World Athletics Championships in September. The Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, is seeking additional funding to ensure the country's top sprinters and quarter-milers complete at full strength. World 100-meter hurdles champion, and that's Toby Amusan, and national 100-meter champion Sunday Israel Okon are expected to boost team morale, as well as just ahead of the crucial races. AFN President Tonobok Okowa stressed the importance of the Ghana events for Nigeria's relay ambitions, with a competition rescheduled for August 19th and 20th, set to determine the nation's final qualification chances on the global stage. And now, just outside of the continent, as Liverpool and Crystal Palace will contest the 2025-26 Community Shield at Wimbledon on Sunday, today, marking the season's traditional opener between League and FA Cup winners. Slots Liverpool fresh from a record equalizing or equaling 20th Premier League title, approached the match with key new signings, including Florian Wirtz as well as Jeremy Frimpong, despite losing Trent Alexander-Arnold to Real Madrid. Now, Palace, on his other hand, will be featuring Mberechi Eze, who netted their FA Cup winning goal against Manchester City, and they are making their first ever appearance in the fixture. Now, Eze is linked with a move to Arsenal, could be playing his final game for the Eagles for this match, while Liverpool is aiming to extend their impressive Shield record to face a determined Palace chasing rare silverware. Now, the kickoff is set for 3 p.m. at Wimbledon. Well, all eyes are on that stadium come 3 p.m. That's all we can take at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's delayed ADC membership move amid Jonathan 2027 speculation. And the police is now silenced, and their silence is fueling tension as tinted glass permit enforcement deadline is near. And we also reported that Chad court has sentenced its ex-prime minister to 20 years over incitement. Now, to remember, they can send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number now showing on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We're at News Central TV on all social media platforms. You can always watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422. We're now on GoTV channel 23. Find us on Star Times channel 274. We're also on Avo TV, and you can stream us live on YouTube. Hey, thanks for watching. I am Judith at TV.